Good afternoon, everyone. In the news now, I bring you a story that's basically a follow-up of the last video that I did that really got many views. It got shared all over the world, even to Australia, because many of the people in Australia, especially in Victoria area, didn't actually know what was happening in their own country. And this is actually quite sad. But you saw the video of the lady getting arrested in her pajamas. She's pregnant. In front of her children before taken into custody, and she's done videos since her release saying that the police didn't treat her badly or anything like that, but she wasn't sure if she's been kidnapped. She didn't really know what was happening to her, and this was for a Facebook post for a peaceful protest, and they charged her that she's inciting violence. And in a follow-on with that, there's 4 people being arrested for similar Facebook posts. And in this article, and this is from ABC, Victoria Police arrest James Bartolo for online support of anti-lockdown protests. And there's a video there that you can go and watch. I'm not going to include it in this video now, so please click on the link in the description below the video. I'll also do it in a pinned comment, in the top comment. Go and watch the video to actually see what happened. Now obviously there's a bit of argy-bargy and words being used and all the rest. No real profanities until his front door is being blocked, literally being broken down. But I will go through the article, because what's important here is to understand that there's a global response to people opposing the COVID-19 lockdown regulations. Victoria Police are continuing their crackdown on social media users supporting coronavirus protests, arresting another person accused of incitement on Friday. James Bartolo was arrested at his home after police broke through his front door and had tackled him to the floor. Mr. Bartolo filmed his arrest and posted it live to his personal Facebook account. The video showed him arguing with police who were calling for him to open the front door. In the 3-minute long video, Mr. Bartolo argues with the police, claiming they were trespassing on his property. And I quote, "You don't have authorization to be on the property," Mr. Bartolo says after being told police have a search warrant. Police enforced their way in and arrested him in his living room. Now understand, he hasn't said that there's going to be any violence or anything like that. He just said that he supports a specific lockdown protest, of which he later told the people not to go. And the reason why he told them not to go is because he believed it was a setup to actually increase the lockdown regulations later on. And he actually tells it to them in the video, said that I actually told people not to go to the protest. Police enforced their way in and arrested him in his living room. A Victorian police spokeswoman said the 27-year-old has been charged with incitement, possession of prohibited weapons, and 2 counts of resisting police. Now this is why I tell people, if the police tell you to do something, even if it's illegal, if it doesn't harm you physically, you have to listen, because if you don't listen, then what's happening is you are committing a level 1 offense under South African law. Even when a high court judge has said that their arrest is illegal, it doesn't matter. They don't see it that way when they are giving the instruction. So if they tell you to disperse or anything like that, do so. If you don't, you will be arrested for not following the police instruction, not for being illegally in public or whatever the case may be. So people must just be very cautious of that. Bartolo is the 4th arrested for incitement. Mr. Bartolo is the latest Victorian to be arrested as police crack down on those they allege are inciting protests. Now, that inciting a protest is not inciting violence. So what is happening here is a police state emerging in Victoria, in Australia. Now, I know numerous people that have moved to Australia. You're not freer there than you are in South Africa. South Africa is still, in my opinion, the freest place on earth. And you will understand in future why I say this, when you see what happens to the rest of the world. Victoria Police on Thursday confirmed 3 other people have been arrested and charged with incitement, including one who was rearrested for alleged ongoing offences. So now, wanting to actually meet, to protest against your rights being taken away, to make a living, is now considered an offense. Okay? Think about what's happening. And you are the government. One of those arrested was pregnant woman Zoe Buller, who was getting ready to leave her home and receive an ultrasound. A video of her arrest was filmed and posted to Facebook, and this is the video of mine that has received over 25,000 views up until now. She told officers she did not know that anything she did was wrong. The Australian Human Rights Commission expressed concerns over the arrest on their social media account. And I'm going to read it to you. As President of the Australian Human Rights Commission, I'm dismayed at the handling of the arrest of a woman in Ballarat who was handcuffed by police despite her compliance in front of her family. Human rights are for everyone, everywhere, every day. In times of crisis such as this pandemic, our rights are as important as ever. While measures to control infections have required temporary limitations on our rights and freedoms, they must always be proportionate to the risk and managed appropriately. And this is where things fall flat completely. I've always said, if this virus was, if it was killing people, so they're dropping over like flies, you won't have to put a lockdown in place. People will lock themselves down. I can guarantee you that. We aren't stupid. She told reporters on Thursday she was upset the arrest took place in front of her kids. And I quote, I do think they, the police, were too heavy-handed, especially to arrest me in front of my children and to walk into my house like that. It did scare them, she said. I was scared I was being kidnapped. I was just fully freaking out. And I fully understand this. When your own government that's supposed to protect you become the absolute perpetrator and you become the victim. And I believe South Africa will be the last proving ground for freedom in the world. We will be the last stand. I also believe the southern part of America and the northern part of America will become equally divided. It's an ideological war. This is not a race war. It's not a culture war. It's an ideological war. And many people I've spoken to, especially elderly people who have children, have said that their kids believe it's good that these people are being arrested. It's good that their freedoms are taken away because everyone is falling over everywhere in the world because of COVID-19. This is what they believe. This is how people have been brainwashed. And they don't know how to look at evidence anymore. Bartolo calls protests a trap to extend lockdowns. Following his arrest, Mr. Bartolo posted 2 videos on Facebook urging people not to go to the protest in Melbourne CBD on Saturday. Mr. Bartolo called the protests a trap, saying they will be used as an excuse for Premier Daniel Andrews to extend lockdown laws across Victoria. Now, Daniel Andrews is a full-on dictator, a psychotic, extreme leftist buffoon. And people like that are dangerous. They shouldn't be in politics. And this is why we need to change our governance system. Because at the moment, in the Democratic Alliance and in many other parties, idiots like this are rising to the top. They are getting the fame and they are getting the fortune of being in government, earning fat salaries and making their sick ideas come to fruition in our laws. Be very careful what you wish for. Victoria is currently under level 4 restrictions with a nightly curfew in place for Melbourne and limits to how far people can travel from their home. There is no date for when the restrictions will be lifted. Note, they are on level 4. Did other countries have levels like this? No. Do we have levels like this? Yes. Why? We are part of the Commonwealth. We are still run by Britain up until this very day. And we will follow the exact same model that they have followed because they are running the New World Order for us. This new order in which you will have no freedoms. And if you want to hand over your freedom on a platter, that is fine. But don't take mine away. If you want to take mine away, I will fight to the death and many people will fight with me. And I'm sorry to say, I think that those people that want to impose these things on others, they're going to come on the short end of the stick when it comes to the real grit and the real fight. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. Tonight at 7 o'clock I will go live with Jared Petzer. We will be talking about his journey into the public domain and the movements that he has started what it's about, the attacks that he's experienced from people. The moment you put yourself into the public, you experience attacks. And I'll give him an opportunity to speak to the people out there and tell them his side of the story, his life story. And you can look forward to that. 7 o'clock tonight, live stream with Jared Petzer. Till the next video.